Hey guys, what's up? Here is Max. One of the characters that Dragon Ball Super fans most want to see fight using full power is Beerus the Destroyer. From the beginning of the series, we've seen that Beerus was very powerful and was able to subdue Super Saiyan God Goku even without using a large portion of his power. And since that moment, we have always wondered what is the maximum power of this deity. But unfortunately, we never saw him have a really serious fight, neither in the manga nor in the anime. So what is the maximum power of the God of Destruction Beerus, and who would be able to make him use his maximum power? That's what I want to talk about in this video. Stay connected in the channel and let's go to the video. It was just another peaceful day on the planet of the God of Destruction. As usual, Goku, Vegeta, and Broly trained under Whis' assistance. Chi-Lai and Lemmo did the daily chores and Beerus was relaxing. Suddenly, Whis' staff starts to flash, alerting the angels of something. The next moment, Whis goes to Beerus and tells him that someone has invaded planet Vodner. The God of Destruction, who was completely relaxed, suddenly becomes in great despair, wondering who could manage to survive that place. Whis says that someone is Frieza. Beerus asks what Frieza could want in such a place, and Whis says that his presence in that place cannot be a coincidence, and that Frieza wants to free Vodner. Beerus tells Whis that they can't let that happen and then asks the angel to take him there immediately. Whis does as he asks, and then they immediately leave the planet. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly see them leaving and are curious about the possible reasons why Whis and Beerus leave so suddenly. Before I tell you where Beerus and Whis are going and what's so important there, I want to say that if you want to have some exclusive benefits here on the channel and also help with the production of the Dragon Ball Hakai manga, you can do this through our Patreon from a very small amount. If you want to know more, click on the link in the description of this video if you can collaborate with us and help us keep Dragon Ball Hakai alive. Planet Vodner is a small planet located in one of the most inhospitable regions of Universe 7. This planet has an extremely acidic climate that makes the presence of life in that place almost impossible. The only creatures that manage to live in that place are monstrous beings that have extremely resistant bodies. But Frieza manages to stay alive there, and he does so thanks to his extremely tough body, and also thanks to a protective layer of energy he puts around himself. But even for Frieza, that environment is extremely hostile and he feels very uncomfortable there. In addition to the problematic environment, Frieza also has to deal with the army of monsters that exist in that place. Monsters that attack both on the ground and in the sky. And because they manage to survive on that planet, these monsters are extremely powerful and cause difficulty even for the Emperor of the universe. Frieza is facing the army of monsters as he flies toward the center of the planet, where there is a large pyramid. With difficulty, he reaches this pyramid and enters it. And when he does, all the monsters stop chasing him. But as Frieza advances inside the pyramid, he has to deal with other creatures that live there, which are even stronger than the monsters that live outside. To continue advancing, Frieza uses his golden form, and thus he manages to open the way to the center of the pyramid, which is his destination. In the center of the pyramid, he sees a large tomb, where in the center is a coffin. He smiles, indicating that this coffin was his goal. Beerus and Whis arrive on planet Vodner in the form of a ray of light and already go from space directly to the pyramid, destroying the top of the pyramid and stopping only when they reach the center. Frieza is surprised when Whis and Beerus crash through the tomb's ceiling and stop on the floor behind him. The God of Destruction is completely furious, asking Frieza what he wants in that place, even though he was surprised at first. Frieza smiles, asking in a sarcastic tone why Beerus is so desperate. Beerus asks Frieza how he knew about this place. Frieza explains that he always wanted to end Beerus' life, so he can truly reign supreme over the universe, but he never knows exactly how to do this. But recently, with the help of Maki and Oil, the last two members of the Hita, he reaches Zuno. And thanks to the knowledge of this omniscient being, he found out about that place and who is sealed there. Beerus says that if Frieza knows about who is sealed there, he must understand the danger this creature poses, so he shouldn't be doing this. Frieza disagrees, saying that from his point of view, that being poses a much greater threat to Beerus and the other gods than it does to him. Whis warns that this being may have something personal against Beerus, but his release doesn't just pose a danger to him. If that creature is released, Universe 7, no. All 12 universes will be in danger, and that includes Frieza himself. The villain responds by saying that obviously, they're going to do everything possible to convince him not to release that thing, but of course he won't be convinced that way. Beerus says that talking everything is useless, and as he points his hand to Frieza, he says he should have done that a long time ago. He launches a Hakai at Frieza, but the moment that happens, he changes from his gold form to his black form, and deflects Beerus' Hakai in one blow. The energy of the destroyer goes through the pyramid until it reaches the sky to finally explode. After having his attack repelled, Beerus becomes very angry, and Frieza says that he has already evolved too much for Beerus to be able to finish him off so easily. Afterwards, Frieza points his hand towards the coffin in the center of that tomb, and using his telekinetic strength, he lifts the lid while breaking the chains that bound it. Beerus yells at him not to, but it's useless, and so Frieza moves his hand to the side, removing the cover. When the lid of the tomb is removed, an intense light comes out, and when they feel that power, they know that it is going to explode. And it really happens, with all that power being released at once and completely destroying the planet. Whis created an energy shield that protected both him and Beerus, while Frieza also protected himself with a shield created by himself. After all that power was dispersed, they saw another being standing before them, and Beerus names this being Vodner, the greatest abomination in this multiverse. This being called Vodner has a strange appearance, somewhat reminiscent of a mortal race, but also somewhat reminiscent of an angel. He wears around his neck a necklace similar to that of the gods of destruction, but he also has a halo like angels. Vodner glares at Beerus and comments that it's been a long time since the last time. Frieza would introduce himself to Vodner, but he says he already knows him, and that, in fact, despite being sealed, he was aware of everything that happened in this universe. All this time, he watched over Beerus, Whis, and the mortals. This surprises all of them, and Beerus asks how he managed to do that. Vodner extends his hand and causes a staff to appear, a staff very similar to the ones angels use. He explains that, as Whis must know, these staffs are capable of spy across dimensions. That way, even if he was trapped in another dimension, he could keep an eye on everything that happened. Vodner says he has seen interesting things such as Beerus' new disciples. Beerus asks what he's implying, and Vodner doesn't answer. He just takes off at high speed, creating a tube of light similar to the one Whis creates when he travels across the universe. At that moment, Beerus despairs and tells Whis that they can't let this guy loose in the universe. Whis agrees and also begins his locomotion, taking him and Beerus out there, leaving Frieza alone as he laughs like a true maniac. Even though Whis was leading the chase with his extraordinary speed, Vodner was getting further and further away, and Beerus was very angry about that, telling Whis that he should go faster. But Whis responds that he's going as fast as he can, but it still isn't enough. On the planet of Beerus, Goku, Vegeta, and Broly are continuing their training when suddenly a ray of light lands on the planet, causing massive destruction, which leaves everyone there in great shock. The three Saiyans approach the crater that formed in the center of the planet, and then they see Vodner standing still looking at them. Broly asks who that guy is. Vegeta says that he doesn't know, but looking at his face and the energy he emanates, he seems to be someone very dangerous. And then he asks worriedly if Kakarot is feeling the same thing as him. Goku answers yes, and says that this person's energy is very similar to Beerus and Whis' energy, and if they were both in one person. Looking at the trio, Vodner says that they possess a surprising level of power for mere mortals, and that Beerus and Whis seem to have a lot of expectations for them. He ends by saying that destroy them, and this planet is a good start for his revenge. Goku asks what he's talking about, but he says he doesn't need to explain himself to them, and orders them to get ready to fight. Taking a good look at the enemy, Vegeta concludes that he is too dangerous. They should be very careful and not hold back. Vegeta begins to use his power of destruction, transforming himself into Ultra Ego, and Goku transforms into Ultra Instinct. The first to attack is Vegeta, who flies towards the invader, accumulating a large amount of energy of destruction in his fist and delivering a punch containing all his power, which, when reaching Vodner, spreads energy of destruction over a vast area of the planet, destroying a big part of it. But Vegeta is surprised to see that this attack was useless, and Vodner stopped him with a single finger. After stopping Vegeta's attack with his finger, Vodner holds his hand, while saying that he uses Hakai very well for a mortal. But as he brings his hand close to Vegeta's forehead and prepares a flick at the same time, as he accumulates a small spear of energy of destruction in his fingertip, he says that Vegeta is still a long way from mastering this technique, with the mastery of a true god of destruction. After stating this, Vodner flicks the small ball of destruction energy into Vegeta's forehead, creating a point-blank explosion in his face and knocking Vegeta away. Just that one attack was enough for Vegeta to lose his transformation and pass out, his face completely injured. Goku and Broly are very impressed to see Vegeta being defeated with a single blow, and then Goku charges at the enemy to try a sequence of attacks, but Vodner dodges them all very easily. While smoothly dodging Goku's blows, Vodner says that by mortal standards, Goku uses this ability very well. But after dodging a blow from Goku and going to his back, already preparing a blow, he says that nothing compares to the Ultra Instinct of angels. And then he hits Goku, who even using Ultra Instinct can't dodge and is knocked out. Seeing Goku also being defeated with such ease, Broly is very afraid of this enemy and does not attack. Wagner laughs it off and says it's ridiculous to see a man with so much potential behaving like a frightened animal. But he says he knows how to deal with an animal. All he needs to do is awaken his animalistic instincts. After saying that, Wagner points to one of the regions on the planet and asks if Broly knows who are in that direction he is pointing. At that moment, he remembers Chilai and Limo and concludes that Wagner must be talking about them. Wagner launches a Hakai in that direction, but Broly moves in the blink of an eye, disappearing from where he is, reappearing in the direction of the attack and deflecting it with a blow, letting the energy of destruction explode in the sky. This attitude made Broly extremely angry, and so he starts releasing energy uncontrollably as he goes into his berserk form. Seeing this, Wagner smiles and says this is how he wanted to see Broly. Broly flies toward the enemy to land a punch on him, but Wagner easily catches his hand. Then Broly tries another punch, but has his other hand grabbed. Without being able to use his hands, the Mad Saiyan headbutts the enemy, but it is he who has his forehead hurt, while the villain stands still as if nothing had happened. Broly does not give up and opens his mouth while releasing a huge wave of energy at close range against the enemy. But all that power was just enough to warm Wagner's skin a little, and he finally decides to strike back, hitting Broly with a headbutt. So hard, it makes all of the world vibrate. After receiving this attack, the Saiyan warrior falls to his knees with his forehead bleeding as he loses his transformation, and then falls to the ground, passed out. Finally, Beerus and Whis arrive on the planet, and the moment they arrive, Beerus curses Wagner while assuring him that he will pay for everything he is doing. The invader says that this is just the beginning, and that Beerus and Whis will see everything they have destroyed before their eyes. With a serious expression, Beerus tells Whis that this is a huge emergency, and that he has no option but to use that thing they've been training for all these years. Whis closes his eyes and says this is a real emergency, so he gives permission for it to be used. Beerus asks Whis to evacuate the planet, and in the blink of an eye, the angel moves slightly across the planet, taking Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, Chilai, and Limo out of there, going into space and protecting them all with a dome of energy. As he starts to focus all his power, Beerus tells Wagner that things are a little different than they were a million years ago, and that if he thinks he's going to meet the same Beerus, he's very much mistaken. Universe 7's God of Destruction releases a great amount of power, and as Beerus' energy emanates, Wagner is impressed. Beerus explodes his power, releasing energy so intense that it tears his entire planet to pieces. After that, he reveals a transformation such that Wagner is surprised to see. Beerus claims to him that this is his ultimate transformation, the one that surpasses gods and angels. So guys, did you like the story? If the answer is yes, please leave your like on this video, comment, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The goal for this video is 1,000 likes, and if that goal is met, we'll know it's worth bringing part 2 of the story. And in this part 2, we will better explain who Wagner is, his past with Whis and Beerus, and of course, we will show all the power of this ultimate transformation of the Universe 7's God of Destruction. Before you go, don't forget to go check out our Patreon. Dragon Ball Hakai needs you. Until the next time, goodbye.